Okay, good. All right, welcome everyone. We are here today for Tuesday's afternoon session of the Board of Review and Equalization. Can I have first off, any items from the public? If there aren't any, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, motion carries. We're running a little bit late. Board of Review and Equalization, Mr. Hess, do you have anything for us here this morning, or this afternoon, sorry. Still working on my morning time.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Larry.
We don't have anything right at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
We are working on a few things. We've got some things in the works. Since the letters went out, phones have just been,
I got a call for you too, so I'll be over when we have a little break.
Okay, hold over. So, but other than that, we're just going to stand by, and we'll be available if somebody needs to come in or if they want anything. But right now, we don't have anything. But probably Tuesday we'll have a few for you.
I'm sure. Sound
And I
good.
want to make I sent an email to Kathy Sherman because she was supposed to retire last year, and we've got a inquiry on a commercial property, an industrial property, but she's still working. She's working till like March, I think, or whatever it is. She's going to retire, so if we need her, she's still available. So
You said an inquiry from Homework. I'm not sure if it would look to or not, but I said she did.
yeah, I got that. Yeah,
Sent to everybody.
yeah,
I'm not sure you
but
saw
they haven't said anything back yet.
They
have
have not, so make sure you saw we have
Yeah.
an inquiry.
Okay. So other than that, we'll just stand by, and
Okay.
if somebody comes in, we'll holler for you, or the other way around.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Anthony, you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify, if you recall, that the assessor notified you guys there on Thursday that the 10% increase letters, those are all done one location through the state now. He got back information that there were 3 counties, somehow they sent them out 2 weeks late, approximately 2 weeks late. That's not going to affect anything we do here.
Mm-hmm.
They'll still have the right to appeal to the Office of Tax Appeals in Charleston. So if anybody's questioning, like, why didn't I get this until, it's not going to affect what we do here at all.
Okay, thank you. All right, all done with that. Next up is Morgan Cabin budget presentation. Ms. Smith? Ms. Sherry, how are you today?
Good.
Good.
How you doing?
Oh, not bad, I think. I think I'll be okay.
Hanging in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I pull this down.
Yes, indeed. Wherever you want to.
Good afternoon. I have a couple of people here that are on the cabin committee with us. I'd like to introduce Matt Howard, right here, and Nancy Ricketts. She's been on the board longer than I have, if that tells you anything. So, 2 great members of our committee that
Well,
came to support
Jim-
us today.
Jim helped build the cabin, so.
Oh, he did? Thank you, Jim.
I did the gardening.
Been there a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Historic Morgan Cabin Association. Our mission is to preserve the Morgan Cabin for future generations and to teach the story of Colonel Morgan Morgan, first white settler in West Virginia. Since 1976, our volunteers have consistently worked to maintain the cabin for future generations. Through countless volunteer hours, we have made many additions and improvements to the cabin and the grounds. As I mentioned, our volunteers have been working to preserve the Morgan Cabin for 48 years. In 2001, we received a 501c3 tax exempt status through the IRS. By doing this, we became eligible for outside grants, which we are always actively pursuing. In order to promote our tours and the latest improvements to the cabin, as well as announcements of upcoming events, we have a Facebook social page. Several of our followers are direct descendants of Morgan Morgan. We also have a website, morgancabin.org. This has encouraged an interest in our activities, and we're pretty excited about that. We're coming into the new century here. Engaging with our community and encouraging students to become interested is very important. This past year, we involved the Musselman High History Club, and they assisted in painting the pavilion as a community service project. So we were tickled to have the kids involved in that. Today, we are asking for financial assistance to help pay for further needed capital improvements and repairs to the cabin. We need to replace the gutters on the cabin to protect it from the weather. We would like to replace the old metal guttering with wooden water-resistant guttering. We're excited about this guttering. Will be installed by the original historian Doug Reed, who restored the cabin in 1976. Our volunteers will assist him in completing the installation to save on costs. This will ensure that it will be done with the utmost care and in keeping with the historical significance of the cabin. In talking with Doug Reed, it was interesting to note that he said many of the historical sites he has restored have not been taken care of and are now in complete disrepair. He said, "We are fortunate to have had a committee that has taken good care of the cabin." He's looking forward to seeing the cabin after 48 years. I think he will be pleased with the condition that it's in. We plan to have a security system installed in the cabin to protect the cabin and its valuable contents from theft and vandalism. The front door to the cabin must be repaired. The frame has split and must be repaired or replaced. It's very difficult to get the old lock to work when trying to lock or unlock the door. So we're not sure what will need to be done there, but the whole thing may need to be replaced. We need to paint the wooden board fence surrounding the property so it will last for many more years. By putting new guttering on the cabin, installing a security system, repairing the front door and frame, and painting the board fence, we are improving and protecting the cabin for the future. In 2022, we added a solar audio disc with a narrative of the cabin history. This is a great addition and was obtained through a grant with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Now visitors can just push a button to hear the cabin history. We also added a private conservation trust sign on the grounds presenting further history. This was made possible through a grant from the Two Rivers Giving Circle and the Community Foundation. Along with the audio kiosk installed earlier, our history is now available for visitors at all times, even when there's no docent available. Through another recent grant with the Convention and Visitors Bureau, we are having a professional video made of the cabin to share the story with others to promote tourism. We are also creating a brochure to share with our guests and community. We plan to have another fall festival at the cabin in September to provide a community event. At the festival, there will be many special activities and cabin tours. Also planned are haunted tours of the cabin and grounds each Friday and Saturday in October. Both of these fundraising events are put on by our volunteers and will be attended by several hundred people. For the second year, we are going to celebrate our veterans with a special activity Memorial Day weekend. This is not a fundraiser, but will honor our veterans by having them share their memories with the community, and we will provide light refreshments for everyone attending. Our first Sensory Santa was held at the cabin for special needs children in December. Gifts and cookies were given to the children by Santa. Pictures were taken of the families with Santa and given to them at no cost. The gifts were provided by the Brad Wright Law Firm and MJN Construction Mike Smith, and were provided to not only the special needs children in attendance, but also their siblings. Cookie boxes sponsored by the Inwood Lions Club were sent home with each family. The day was a heartwarming and overwhelming success, and we will plan to do it again in 2024. It was just a wonderful, wonderful event for our children. At the Morgan Cabin, we have many school group tours planned throughout the year. We share tours with groups in public schools, scouts, 4-H clubs, homeschooling, community groups, and Matt is usually at the helm doing these tours. He and Thornton Hillary usually do that. They do a great job. These groups get a historical walking tour by volunteers wearing period costumes of the cabin, as well as the neighboring Cool Spring Farm, which was built by Morgan's son, Zachwell Morgan, and he actually founded Morgantown. We also open up the cabin for any Morgan family descendants or any requests from the public to have a tour of the site. We are hopeful that the community will come visit the cabin and enjoy this special historic site. We're excited about our plans for the cabin in 2024, and we're eager to see what progress can be made with the goals I've outlined for you today. We hope to improve it as time goes on. We just make it better and better. That's our interest. As always, when our cabin volunteers can do the work and save labor costs, this is what we do. We hope these improvements will protect the cabin for future generations. As an aside, I can remember Nancy years ago and Vanetta Kearns shoveling gravel, digging ditches to lay electric line, and actually I was a part of it as well, but then we built the pavilions. So this has been a labor that we have seen firsthand. I mean, we've taken care of it. So we really appreciate the support we're getting now. This has been invaluable in maintaining this historical site. We're so appreciative of your past support, and we appreciate your consideration of our request. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Any questions? HD, Jim?
I don't. How much are you asking for?
I'm sorry.
How much are you asking for? How much money are you asking for?
I think it was 6,000.
442.
Oh, okay. I didn't have the paper with me. So.
Yeah. The spouting is pretty expensive because we want to do it with something that is, typical with the cabin. And Doug Reed said that that's what he would recommend, but we need to replace the spouting with something because it's running down behind it and it will do damage to the cabin.
So it's like a custom-made wood gutter, basically.
It will be, actually, he recommended mahogany. I said, whoa. And he said it's the longest lasting wood as far as
Weathering.
moisture resistant. So, and we'll have to research it farther to make sure, but
I know there's a lot of upkeep with old properties and wooden structures. And my grandfather built a log cabin back in the 20s on his home place, and it's still standing today.
yeah,
And it's used by the family, but
that's great.
it's got a standing seam roof on it. It's over 100 years old, and it has to have one put on it now. So I'm in the process of, like you all, finding the funds to preserve it. So
A couple of years ago, we had to put a new roof on the cabin, and we did the, what kind of shingles are they?
cedar shake.
Cedar shaker shingles. That's what we put on it, and it was quite expensive. It was almost $6,000 just for that little cabin.
Yeah.
But we were trying to keep it, historic. And
Yeah, but those items are history
You think
making, and
you think the cedar would be better for the gutters than the mahogany?
I'd leave that to somebody better than my knowledge. I know I know mahogany has a tighter grain than a cedar does, but I would venture to say the mahogany would probably.
He
You probably
said
still have to
that,
treat that over and
Oh
over.
yeah, I'm sure he would have to
Like every
maintain
year,
it.
you'd probably have to put a coating on there.
Some
The
kind.
wood gutter, yeah.
he said that he would be checking with the mill in Maryland. Do you remember the name of it?
Hicksville.
Hicksville. That's where he would be checking. He gave us an estimate, but he said I would have to check,
They have the best prices on wood for sure.
Yeah.
to get the best price. And it's not going to be cheap, but, we've got to try to do it the best way we can. So we're hoping that we'll get to put that on. And we need the security system just because of all the vandalism that's going on. So we appreciate your consideration. We thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all you do for preserving our history.
Thank
Greatly
you. We
appreciate
enjoy it. It's fun. We have a wonderful group
Yeah.
that works together.
Well, you got a neighbor right down the road. It's kind of questionable, but Richie's a good friend of mine, so really be careful with Richie.
Yeah, we try to watch him carefully.
Now, his wife is top notch. It's just Richie we got to watch.
Yeah, you got to watch Rich. And Larry Broy
Yes.
he has done so much work at the cabin.
Yeah.
No cost. I mean, he just volunteers. And he's sort of at a standstill now because he had knee surgery.
Yeah.
But, I mean, before that, it was just work with him. Thousands of dollars in value, I'm sure.
Yep.
But we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Next up is Amy Serball with the Children's Home Society.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Pretty
Lady. Is it okay if I give you a brochure?
good. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. I said thank you. Sorry.
Again, thank you for having me today. My name is Amy Serball. I'm the director of Children's Home Society, and one of our programs is Victoria's House Child Advocacy Center, formerly known as Safe Haven Child Advocacy Center. We've been serving the Eastern Panhandle since 2005. Our mission is to promote the team approach to the investigation of serious abuse and neglect allegations. We're located just downtown over on Winchester Avenue in the Big Brown House. And we work with all local agencies to make sure that when there are serious abuse and neglect allegations, we're coming together as one unit to wrap that child in care and make sure that we are looking at that child's abuse and neglect scenario from all avenues and not putting that child through any necessary undue than what is needed for the investigation. Victoria's House Child Advocacy Center is a completely grant-funded program. Children's Home Society is a nonprofit child welfare organization. Victoria's House is one of our largest programs. Our first largest program, of course, is our foster care and adoption services. One major change that's happened that you guys are probably aware of in the last few years is that Victoria's House is now standalone in its own building. We had to expand because of the increase in number of children that we're serving. In the last 5 years, we've seen a 60% of increase in the number of kids from Berkeley, Jefferson, and Morgan that we're serving, and predominantly those are Berkeley County children. In the last fiscal year, 246 Berkeley County children received forensic interviewing services. So when you think about it, that's almost a working day that we saw from Berkeley County of children who experienced severe physical abuse, severe sexual abuse, mental emotional abuse. And right now, unfortunately, most of our kids that we're seeing have polyvictimization, where they're coming in with not only physical abuse or sexual abuse, but also exposure to drug violence in their home or drug endangerment by a parent or caregiver. So what happens when a child comes to us? For a forensic interview, that child meets with a trained interviewer. Victoria's House staff right now has 5 trained forensic interviewers in-house. They meet with the child one-on-one in a mutual setting. We're completely neutral in that interview room. We video and audio record everything that we do to preserve the child's statement so that they don't have to keep retelling their story. While we're talking with that child, law enforcement and child protective services are oftentimes in the back of the little house, which is that little garage attachment, or they're in the basement of our second interview room, watching everything in real time as it's happening. As that child is making their disclosure, the interviewer is getting all of the details that they can. When they've gotten all of the information that they think they need for search warrants, for initial charges, they take a break, check in with the investigators, and then wrap up any other necessary questions for that investigation. It's also not uncommon for prosecuting attorneys to attend those interviews. And again, we work with all 3 counties. We did have to put in a second interview room at Victoria's house. That's one of our biggest accomplishments of this past year. Now we have a child-focused room that is for children that are from the ages of 3 up to kind of about 10 or 11. And now we have a teen room. That's our second interview room on site that is more geared towards teens and young adults. Another thing that we're celebrating this year is that we've been able to open our door to young adults who've been victimized as a child. That law enforcement is more comfortable with us interviewing for their investigation, or adults with severe intellectual delays who need to give a witness statement or a victim statement. So that's another service that we've kind of been able to provide with our staffing increases, thanks to the grants that we've received. The other service component that we offer at Victoria's house is ongoing advocacy services. So not only are we serving that initial victim, but we're serving their protective caregivers. I say protective caregivers because we don't work with anybody who offends on a child. We make sure that we're working with individuals who are protective of the children. Child Protective Services works really hard to make sure that those kids are in a safe place. Oftentimes, unfortunately, a removal happens in our lobby because it's found that when a child is disclosing, they're disclosing about a perpetrator that's their parent or caregiver. But we work with families sometimes from that initial contact up to 6 months. And then we've had cases that are 3 years going on. I have a client that I've been working with since 2017. I started working with her when she was a victim at 15, and now she's a young mom that I'm still working with just to kind of help her support, and she's now giving back because she's on one of our parent boards. So that's kind of a good success story to see her. Her only goal was to graduate high school, and she's graduated, she has a job, she's really proud of her career, and now she's giving back to her community. So we really strive to just wrap those families in whatever support that we can give them. One thing that I'm really proud of in the Eastern Panhandle, particularly in Berkeley County, is our conviction rate. We contributed in Berkeley County to 15% of the total child abuse convictions compared to the rest of the state average, which, thinking about all of the other counties and the population sizes of those other counties, is pretty significant. You give me 1 second to pull up that data sheet, and I have it right in front of me. Last year, we had 30 individuals in Berkeley County convicted by plea agreements, and we had 12 convicted by trial. So we work very closely with the prosecuting attorney's office. Ms. Wilkes Delegetti is very good with providing prosecutors who really care about what the victim needs. We're able to work with our clients to get victim impact statements so that they can really articulate to the court what the abuse meant to them. The other thing that I'm really proud of in Berkeley County that we do well is we get those cases prosecuted timely. So we're holding those offenders accountable and in a timely manner. The grant funding that we're asking for, we haven't increased in years past, despite the number of children that we're serving, because we recognize that the county does support a lot of grant efforts, and we need all of those people to continue the services and the work that we're doing. So we are asking for $5,000 again. That is a quarter of the grant match that we need for our grant funding through the state. We receive grant funding from Victims of Crime Compensation Act, as well as the Division of Justice and Community Services. Are there any questions that you have?
HD?
I don't. Appreciate what you guys do, and great success rate that you're having. Hopefully we can help you. I mean, it's only a quarter of a grant match, so that's a reasonable ask.
Thank you.
Mr. Barnhart?
I have no questions.
I just want to say thank you for what you do for the ones that are in such a need. And it's sad that we have to do this in this day and age, but like HD said, it's a very reasonable ask, and we will do our best, that's for sure.
Thank you for your consideration. I say all the time, I can't wait to work myself out of a job when it's not necessary.
Yeah, I can't wait till you work yourself out of a job too.
I have a retirement plan for when that happens. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Alrighty, next up is the Martinsburg Berkeley County Public Library, Finance Manager Gretchen. And you have somebody with you today.
Yes. Actually, I'm Gretchen Fry, the director, and this is Lynn Walker. She is the finance manager. She is here to answer questions if needed.
Okay.
I also have something to give to you all. I have an updated request. We got some new information last week, which has changed on the requesting. So I'm going to give you copies. This.
Thank you.
So, all right. So first off, I would like to thank you, to thank the County Commission for their continued support of the Martinsburg-Berkeley County Public Library System. I would like to tell you a little bit about what the library's been doing in the last year. Last year, the Martinsburg-Berkeley County Public Library System circulated over 129,000 physical items and circulated over 88,000 electronic items. Our patrons accessed 70,000 digital resources from the databases purchased by the library. We held an average of 3 programs per day and served over 620 people per day. The library continues to provide free computer and internet access, passports and notary services, and study and meeting room space for our community. The library has expanded its offerings of activities and educational programming. New programming include baby story time, so not just preschool story time, we now have a baby story time at all of our libraries, homeschool activities, and book clubs for teens and preteens. The library partnered with a number of community groups this year to offer programs and services to Berkeley County residents. This year, the library's partners included WVU Medicine Diabetes Coalition, AARP and VITA, Shepherd University, the Martinsburg Initiative, Main Street Martinsburg, Berkeley County Artworks, and Goodwill Industries. Between February 2023 and October 2023, the library worked with HBM, an architectural firm who specializes in library facilities planning and design, on a 9-month facilities planning process. The final report consists of a current facilities condition assessment, demographic data, input from the community members, and stakeholder focus groups and surveys. There's also comparisons between the current library system and peer libraries. The report offers a recommended facilities plan as well as alternative plans, and I will go ahead and email you a copy of this. It's huge. I have it right here, but I will go ahead and email you a copy of this plan. It is very comprehensive. So the next steps for us as a library system is we're going to take this plan and we're going to basically integrate it into our overall strategic plan for the library system. Obviously, this is an ideal plan of what we would like things to be. We now have to integrate that with our financial realities. And that actually brings us to my next item, which is our current HVAC and electrical project for the Martinsburg Library. The most immediate and pressing need for our facilities that we have in our entire library system is the HVAC and electrical system at for the Martinsburg-Berkeley County Public Library building. So in addition to the funding we receive from the county in accordance with special law enacted in 1970, the library would like to make an additional funding request from the city this year. The library would like to respectfully request $151,154 as a one-time investment in a $2.2 million HVAC and electrical project for the Martinsburg Library building. Unfortunately, I was not able to include this request in our written agency funding request that was due on January 12th because we were waiting to find out how much, if any, state funding we would receive for our HVAC project. And I'm happy to report that last week, on January 29th, we were granted $200,000 from the State of West Virginia Facilities Fund. The fund contained $1 million total. We requested the entire amount, and we received $200,000. 19 libraries in West Virginia applied for the funds, so I consider that actually pretty good that we got $200,000. And obviously, this state money has to be matched with local dollars. So if you look at that front page of your packet that I just gave you, you see an overview of how much the HVAC project will cost and how the library is proposing to fund it. Also attached, you will find a copy of the HVAC replacement and electrical plan from Boland. The library has been working with consultants for over 2 years to find the best solution for the Martinsburg Library's HVAC and electrical needs, and Kevin Whitney of Crabtree, Rober and Associates has agreed to manage the project. The library has also been working for over 2 years on a funding solution for the project. And obviously, funding a project of this type, size, and cost is extremely challenging. What we found is that federal funding specifically for library capital projects just does not exist. Federal funding used to be available for library capital projects in the 60s, but now the funding is for technology only. Obviously, state funding, so far they created a facilities fund, they put $1 million in it. That's the only amount of money they've ever put in it is the $1 million, and we did receive $200,000 of that money. The library also worked with Boland's professional grant writer to identify and apply for grants for this project, and they are mentioned in the Boland plan. The grant writer did identify 2 grants, one for $50,000 and one for $150,000, and we did apply for those grants, but unfortunately we did not receive those grants. In addition, the library submitted 2 unsuccessful congressional spending requests to Senator Joe Manchin. So we tried twice for congressional spending, and we also had 1 unsuccessful request through Shelley Moore Capito as well. So under funding sources on your sheet, you'll see how the library is proposing to fund this project. The library has secured a loan of $1.6 million. And basically, we're going to spend $200,000 of our operating funds over the next 10 to 12 years to pay for the loan. So approximately 10% of our operating budget will be diverted to the project over the next 10 years. Obviously, this doesn't cover the $2.2 million that we need for the project. So in addition, we have $134,000 in ARPA funds, and we just received $200,000 from the state of West Virginia. And we are asking the county and the city to consider splitting the remaining balance of $302,308. So basically, each contributing $151,000. I have not had a chance to reach out to the city yet, since I just found out about the state funding last week, but I will do so soon and ask them as well for half the money. Thank you for considering the library's request, and let me know if you have any questions.
HD?
So on this request, this is for this coming year's budget and funds, which is still a little ways out. Mm-hmm. Is the price going to change on this project between now and the money coming?
No, we have signed the contract and it is locked in.
It's locked in, we're still waiting on the final numbers for the general contract for the sewer. Mm-hmm. They gave us an estimate, that's what I have in here underneath the project. Kevin Whitney's the one who told us that, we should put in a 5% contingency, so I did that, and then I'm waiting for a final number from them for a project management cost. But other than that, no.
And this is still, I know it's been a little while, I've missed a couple meetings, but this is still the same company, everything that came back with like the 70,000 more, is correct?
That was a roof.
That was the roof?
That was a roof.
Okay.
We've nixed that, we're not even gonna, the major problem right now
It's the
is
HVAC. Right.
And the electrical issue that, we can't upgrade anything because the electrical is the original electrical in the building from 1969.
Yeah, she gave me a tour.
Yeah, it's so, but no, we signed it, he signed the deal, it has to be done, we don't have any heat
Right.
and air. Library.
So you're not doing the roof at all right now?
No,
That's-
that's
but,
put on
well,
hold.
After we went back with several different times with Bolin back and forth, and this is a 25-year fix or longer. The last one where we finally signed, they're gonna put 3 new outside units on the rooftop units. So after considering they're gonna be up there ripping down and tearing up, we didn't figure it would be the right time to put in a roof when they're gonna be doing that.
When they do a roof, will they have to lift these units to do a roof?
I'm not sure. That's gonna be in the Kevin Whitney purview.
Gotcha. But your roof's not leaking right now?
No.
Okay.
And I did get all of the money back. Remember how you asked?
Yes.
100% of it back.
That's what I meant to ask too. You
Yes,
did.
I did.
Awesome. That's good. Because sometimes with those guys, like I said, they've done, especially local businesses, they've already spent that money.
Yeah, I got 100% of it back.
That's good that you got that back. Yeah. Good. All right. I have no other questions.
So what's going on with Hedgesville?
What's going on in Hedgesville? Well, the library is still there. It's still
knew
operating. Yep, yep. As you know, we're paying off a loan. It's $38,000 a year for that building. So we're paying off the loan for that.
So the second floor is still vacant?
It's still vacant, yes.
What
But it's
about,
addressed in the HPM plan.
Yeah, that's true. I'll send that to you. Yeah.
what about Spring Mills? Or Falling Waters, whatever it's called?
Yes, the same, yeah, the library's still operating there as well. Obviously, our current most pressing need is the HVAC system at Martinsburg, since that is the main library. And
I just wanted to bring
Yeah.
those up.
yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, no, I understand. And I will send you this plan. They give different options for about how much it would cost to do the different projects, including finishing the second floor of Hedgesville and building out at North. This plan does discuss those options, so you can get a sense of how much that would be cost.
The build out in Spring Mills, what are you looking at? Just curious. It's a lot, I know.
Depending on the size of the building, if it's a 10,000 square foot branch, they were saying about 8.2 million. If you go a bit bigger, maybe up to 14 million.
Okay.
If it's an 18,000 square foot branch.
I have some things I want to talk to you about. I'll set up a meeting with you.
Okay, great.
I leave town at the end of this week, but maybe we either set it up when I get back or if you have any time this week.
Great, yeah, I can do this week,
I
or
have
whatever's,
Just
yeah.
some early things that talking about doing, so.
Great, sounds good.
Well, since they ask about everything in the north end of the county, how's Musselman's library doing?
Musselman Library is doing well.
Eddie's not here, so I had to fill in for Eddie.
Yeah, it's continuing to do well. We're excited that the Board of Education did increase us to another $40,000 a year on the upcoming excess levy. So we're excited that we will be getting additional funding for that. And of course, the joint library, school library is working well as well.
Very good.
So you're asking for an additional 151,000 and change in addition to what we already give you?
Correct.
What the code?
The allotted amount.
Yeah.
Yes, in addition specifically for this HVAC project. And I will be asking the city for the same.
One time out.
Yeah, one time.
Just one time?
Well, for this project.
Well, at least for the next 10 years, we don't have any money to do anything else.
All righty. Anything else, guys?
I have nothing.
Nothing? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and like I said, we will see what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
You
You
too.
too, thank you.
Mr. Will, always good to see you.
That's from Jim.
Yeah, like I said, you're a wonderful hire.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Before you, please find the proposed budget for the Berkeley County Fiduciary Supervisor's Office for fiscal year 24-25. The history of, I'm kidding, I won't go through all that. Vastly similar to last year's budget, including just a difference of $1,150. I'd like to clarify a few things. First, the personnel request form seeking to replace the fiduciary coordinator position, which was made previously vacated last December for reasons beyond discussion. With great thanks to Penny Schul and Gary Wine, I currently have a list of candidates to look through as provided by Penny, ultimately for your approval to fill this void as soon as practicable. So I'm not asking for a fourth full-time employee. I'm just asking us to resume the 3 full-time employees.
They're keeping up with the public's demand on you.
We are, and in no small part, and thanks to Marty Kiesecker, who's our contractual employee. He fills in when we're short-staffed, and now that we are short-staffed all the time, he's there a lot. Well, I do think sometime in the future we will require a 4th full-time employee to accommodate our ever-growing residential population. This need is being fully satisfied by our supplemental contractual support in Marty Kiesecker. As can be seen on budget request line 230, my office is also requesting continuation of Mr. Kiesecker's services through next fiscal year. Marty has done everything I've asked of him, including dealing with the public, and this is to say nothing of seeking to address my real priority, which is address the backlog of fiduciary documents currently found in what is now the Berkeley County Clerk's Office. There are approximately 12 to 15 boxes of marked fiduciary boxes of documents that are there. I need to go through them, and it would help to have a professional who can also go through them with me to cut down on that time. Finally, you will notice small increases to my budget at various designations, specifically travel, item line 214, dues and subscription, item line 222, and departmental supplies and materials, item line 341. The reasons for these requests, these minor requests, are simple. I had to put the minor in there. Travel for the annual fiduciary conference at various locations in West Virginia. Travel costs have increased. Depending on where it is in West Virginia, obviously, if it's in Morgantown, no overnight stay is really needed. It's a day. You can drive up in the morning, drive back in the evening. But if it's in Beckley, it's a different story. If it's in Huntington, it's a different story. Dues and subscription fees have gone up slightly. Particularly, there's an amendment to a law packet that comes as attached to our Michi's law books. It includes changes to the laws of probate specifically in the past year or so. Those are very helpful, and those subscription fees have gone up. Supplies and materials have gone up dramatically, including our printing materials. We use so much paper. It is ridiculous how much paper we use. For letters, packets, informational packets for people stopping by. The main way of opening probate, while you can do it remotely, thanks to 2021's change in the law, the main way people open up estates for probate is in person. Trying to kind of move that along, but it is what it is. It's just easier. It's a very complicated process to try and convey over snail mail or email. It's difficult. So happy to answer any questions you have.
HD, any questions?
I don't have any questions. I think you guys do a great job. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. B.
I agree with HD.
Same here. I got to get mine closed out here pretty soon. So.
Believe me, you are not the most delinquent among them. We've got a couple. We did have, and I've talked to Penny about this, we did have an estate hearing set for this Thursday. That has been postponed. The parties actually decided to talk to each other, which was a benign concept. Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, guys.
As long as we don't deal with it, I'm happy.
That is what I said to them. Anyway.
Thank you.
I do have a question for you.
Sure.
When we take a break.
Okay.
Have you got
No
just
problem.
1
Yep,
minute?
no problem.
All right. We'll go ahead and take a break
Yeah.
if you want to. Nobody else is here for right now. Thank you.
We were behind and then we
All righty, we're back in session and we have Martinsburg Rock School. Mr. Burkholder, come on up here and tell us what you want.
$1 million.
Small
have
bills or one big one?
Just small, unmarked,
Small
black
unmarked?
suitcase.
Okay. On the back porch?
Yep. So I'm not sure how this works. I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my program.
Sure.
Are you guys familiar with us at all? I know HD's a little familiar with me. Have you guys heard of the Martinsburg Rock School or Let There Be Rock at all?
Is it down here on
We're on Race Street
Race
now.
Street? Okay.
So I've been a member of the community for about 7 years now. 5 years ago, we moved into a small building, used to be the Dirty Dog across from Berkeley
Heights, Baker Heights?
So we moved in there
Berkeley
for about
Heights.
2 years, and I left there and I bought a building on Race Street for my business. So we started 7 years ago as a for-profit. We used to have people come in, and kids would be there for 2, 3, 4 months, and then they would disappear. I would call their parents, hey, where's little Johnny, where's little Susie, what's going on? Well, we just can't afford it anymore. So I'd say, you know what, just bring them back, pay what you can when you can, and we'll cover the rest. And that worked really well until we started picking up 30, 40, 50 students. So about 2 years into it, I filed for my 501c3. I got it my third year, and we have been kind of pushing in that direction for 3 or 4 years until year before last, we went completely nonprofit. We've shifted our focus from what we thought was a for-profit business. My business partner, who's no longer with me, thought was a for-profit business, to what I saw as a way to reach out to the youth, help the community. Excuse my language, I was a jackass as a kid. I know a lot of us was, but I was fighting in and out of juvie, arrested all the time, doing drugs, drinking at 12. And when I was about 16 years old, I got arrested. I got put in a program called day treatment. It was a Delphi Village day treatment. I had one person say something to me, one sentence that changed my life. He said, Don, you have a superpower. A 16-year-old boy doesn't think he has a superpower, right? I was like, damn right I do. And he said, what are you going to do with it? Like, what do you mean? I'm going to rule the world. 16 years old, I had a superpower. He's like, how are you going to use your power? Are you going to use it for good or for evil? And I stopped and I actually thought. I was like, shit. I didn't know that was my choice. I knew I was infinitely strong. I had a superpower. I was amazing. But I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know how to choose and how to use it. I just thought I did what I did. That was the second in my life. I can trace it back. I'm 47 years old now. So that second when I started noticing my actions, the actions I had in other people, the things I said, the things I did, I could change my environment, the environment of the people around me. Took years to develop that, obviously. I was still in and out of trouble. By the time I was about 21 years old, I'd settled down, I wasn't in trouble anymore, and I had got my life underway. Had it not been for that one conversation, wouldn't have been there. Never would have had it. To me, the Rock School is that. That's my opportunity. That's my kids' opportunity, my children, or my teacher's opportunity to say that one thing. And it's not always what I say to you or what you say to him. It may be who's sitting around listening to you. And that's what I try to teach my kids. And that was something my pastor taught me. It's not who you're talking to, it's who's listening. So we have become a member of this community for the last 3 years, solely focused on improving our community, changing our community. Now, I come before you today with hat in hand, asking for a one-time assistance to get us over a hump. We had a unfortunate string of incidents, and it led us to where we have zero funds in our account right now. I'm torn between closing the school and trying to start over, or panhandling in the street to keep it going. I've exhausted my personal refunds, my personal funds, Whenever we went through our situation, I had a manager that I hired that did the company wrong, the business wrong. I spent my personal funds, everything I had in my savings to get us right. He spent 3 years moving funds around and hiding mail, and I had to buy my business back, my building back from auction. I had to pay 3 years of sales and use taxes. I had to hire an accountant. There's a whole string of ordeals. I tell you this not because I want to air my dirty laundry in front of you, just because I want you to know that, I understand no business is perfect. I'm not perfect. I stepped aside while running my own family business to let this be ran by somebody else, and it hurt us. And I have been, for the last year, doing everything I can to make up for it, to try to keep this business alive, because I believe in it. I know what it does for the community. We work with so many different organizations in the community, whether it be the Boys and Girls Club, Jefferson and Berkeley Alliance, the Eastern Panhandle Empowerment. Everything we do amongst ourselves, with them, is focused towards giving our youth a safe place to be, a encouraging atmosphere. We work with, so we do a lot of, this last year we do a lot of focus towards drug prevention programs, opioid prevention programs. We provide the safe space for our community. We operate as a community center, but we are a music school. If you're a member, you can come as long as we're open. You can hang out. We actually partnered with HD and Tilty McFlippets. They've started to provide us with arcades for our school so that the kids have something else to do. Before COVID, we were a huge hangout. I mean, we had 60, 70 people there every day, kids hanging out, playing instruments, watching TV, playing video games. But COVID kind of put a stop to it. So I've been struggling to try to figure out how to spark the interest to keep them there. When they're there, they're safe. There's multiple adults around, there's things for them to do, and I know when they're on the street, there's opportunities they shouldn't have. So we want to give them all the opportunity they can to stay with us, learn with us, and grow with us. I can leave some of this stuff with you guys as well. I put a packet together for you with some of the support, letters for support from the different community members, and a basic overview of what it is we do. I have been working with a private foundation for 4 years now, and they have transitioned from sponsoring companies like us to matching donations. So what I would ask of the committee here is to consider doing a donation contingent on a matching donation. So if you guys give us $50,000, you're getting $50,000 matched to that, and $100,000 put back into the community here to reach our children, our youth, our veterans, our adult mentally disabled. We do programs with Daily Companions, American Family Matters as well. So we're not just focused on youth. I am 100% focused on youth, but our organization focuses on the well-being of our entire community. So, any questions?
HD?
So, do you guys actually teach music to the kids, or do they already know how to play and they just come in and play together, or like? Because I've not.
Sure.
I know you guys have opened up for many shows for Greg at Shally Acres.
Absolutely.
You've done a lot of things, but I've never been on the ins and outs of how your program works. So
Sure. So we are a performance-based school. We do, throughout the year, we do lessons. Our entire goal is to put you in a band on a stage. We believe you get the most out of our program if you're performing with others live. You learn different aspects of life. You learn teamwork and self-respect and time management. And there's a lot of things that you learn by doing that rather than just playing and taking lessons on an instrument. So we are performance-based. We have kids from 8 to 80 in our school. We do a lot with veterans as well. It's something I haven't mentioned, but so we do veteran programs. We do adult mentally disabled, and our main focus is Berkeley County youth. So you can come in with no experience at all. We'll put you on the instrument of your choice. We will teach you for about 3 months and then we're going to put you in what we call our teacher band, or a spotlight. So after 3 months of lessons, we'll get you to the point where you can play your instrument of your choice in a band with our teachers. All of our instructors are professional musicians. 3 of them are professional teachers as well. They work for Grafton and other organizations here, and they work for me in the evening. So you'll get 3 months of lessons, then you're gonna get put on stage in a live performance, whether it's Shiley Acres or we do some shows over at Backseat Event Center, Bright Box, Blue Fox over in Winchester. We do a lot of local shows, fundraisers. We do downtown Fridays at 5, things like that. So 3 months, get put in a teacher band, do a few shows that way, and then once we know that you're ready, we form a band around your child. So we put them from nothing to live performance, no matter what their age is. We have a full array of loaner instruments as well. So I have an entire room at my school that is there just for kids to come in. A lot of kids don't know what they want to play. They think they want to play bass or guitar or drums. They'll come to our school. We provide loaner instruments as long as they need them. Most of the time we get them, they figure out, yeah, this is the one I would play, and then they end up getting their own. Or they play it for a while and say, I want to take drum lessons now, and we switch them over to drums. My son is the worst keyboard player in the world. He started at the rock school doing keyboard. Before I owned it, the owner came to me and told me after about 6 months of my son being there, he is the worst keyboard player I've ever seen in my life. That is the bad news. The good news is he is an incredible drummer. So every time he got done playing keyboard, he would run to the drum room and he would teach himself to play drums. And the other kids would come in and teach him to play drums. And that's what we do. A lot of the kids at our school will come in, they may sing or play drums or do both or do 3, 4 instruments. But when they're not doing what they've chose to do, the kids get together and they do their own thing. They form their own bands, and we support that out in the community as well. I have a lot of my kids that started with me at 12 years old are 18 now, and they're doing acoustic sets at all the local stores around here and all the shows they go to, and they set up, and we do some of the elderly assisted living places. They go in, they do shows for them. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, they get to do what they want. We're just there to guide them in the right direction.
Mr. Barnhart.
You seem to explain it pretty well. I guess you also do country and folk and all these.
So country is going to be new to us. We're actually doing country this year. We do anything. We'll support anything the kids want to play. We call ourselves the rock school.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're just trying to be a community center for the kids to come and express themselves. We do songwriting. So some of our kids will write country songs and play them live. Some do folk songs. The acoustic sets that play out live, a lot of it is folk and country. But we're actually going to open up we're going to start marketing an entire country section as well this year. So.
We've been in talks of trying to incorporate some hip hop, so we're just hitting every sector of the community.
Come on up.
So my name's Corey Beam. I've lived in this community, Berkeley County, my whole entire life. I graduated from Opequon Elementary, from North Middle, from Martinsburg High School, Shepherd College. I work for the Boys and Girls Club. I'm an opioid prevention specialist manager there. My whole goal for that club is to become more trauma informed. A lot of these prevention programs that Don's alluding to, we've successfully set up all throughout the state. So what we're doing is we're really trying to become more intentional, help Don tap into some of the things that he's already doing. We know that, so there's 4 pillars of resilience, right? And we know if these 4 things are matched, these kids are going to be successful. And it's what we're going to do to take the small steps to make the change in their environment. You know what I mean? And we have to really utilize the high yield programs that we have available and create more. You know, so when we do have, so Don and I, a couple months ago, I'm calling around because I work with a hip hop studio and I'm talking to them about becoming a nonprofit so we can start utilizing them for one of those high yield activities. You know, because we're teaching jobs. Even if you're not the best like hip hop artist ever, if I can teach you engineering, it's going to help you out through job skills. Same thing with what Don's doing. When he's talking about going out to these places These kids are learning networking skills, they're learning job skills, they're learning how to do stage setup, tear down, light up, all kinds of things that directly go into job skills for them. So a lot of times when I'm talking to kids, they tell me, hey, I want to be an NBA star. I'm a basketball coach, and I use basketball to get on their level too. And they're like, hey, I want to be an NBA star or rock star. And for a long time, I was like, all right, so what's their plan B? You know what I mean? This many kids do this or this many kids do that. What's their plan B? But with programs like this, it's more like, you know what? Hey, even if you're not the best singer, maybe you can go learn to play guitar. Maybe you can get on keyboard. Maybe you can learn stage, lights, engineering, songwriting. All these things are job skills. So that's one of those pillars of resilience, something that leads to a job skill. But you're also connecting to passions, right? So the thing that I learned a long time ago is if I can get on your level and do something that is enjoyable that you connect to, basketball, right? I go in and I work with some of the tougher kids in the elementary schools and you know, like the community learning opportunity centers. You'd be amazed what a set of Uno cards would do. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here and play. Next time you skip, you get a little frustrated. We talk about anger management and goal setting and everything that we need to. So the intentionality is there, and part of what I'm helping Don do is link up with all the community partners. You know, we've contacted recently the Martinsburg Initiative. They've offered support with us, and you all know Margaret and them over there doing absolutely amazing stuff. You know, we're talking to the JBA, Jefferson Berkeley Alliance for Substance Use Prevention. We're talking to Kristen at Morgan County Partnership. Let's see, we talked to Penny Porter today. You know, Penny. So it's utilizing our collective power to nurture these programs. Look, I'm going to come back before you all before too long to start talking about ways to help fund the Boys and Girls Club and some of the programs we're doing. But it's so much more important to make sure that we identify those things out there that are struggling, you know what I mean, that need that nourishment. And the thing that I love about Don through this whole process is he's willing to accept that external help. You know what I mean, look, he's one of the best people to teach somebody to play guitar, right? There are people out here that are a lot better at grant writing, at being able to facilitate those grants, to be like financial advisors and stuff. You know what I mean? And those people are out there that have the same passion to change what we're doing as a community. They just have to use their skill set. So that's why I connect with Don, and that's why I connect with a lot of these people, because they're doing things that I can do, but I can't do on the level that he's doing. But I can do the prevention stuff on a level that he's not doing, and we connect and start building those partnerships. So
Partnerships is the key thing. So Boys and Girls Club, we've been partnering with them for a while, doing small things, doing shows for them, running DJ sets when they're doing their events. But all of these community organizations that we partner with, it's more than just getting us out there. It's teaching our kids, our youth, that they have a talent and to use that talent for good. So we have our kids all year long doing different events, different fundraisers, different things in the community to raise money for other people. They don't expect a paycheck. They're not going to a show and setting up, taking 2 hours to set up, playing for 45 minutes, and then spending 2 hours to tear down and expecting a paycheck for it. They're going because somebody needs them. And that changes your whole outlook on life, on work, on jobs. So we've done throughout the year so many different fundraisers, but the little ones I think are what matter to the kids the most. Somebody calls me up and says, actually one of our students came in and said, you know, we haven't had electric or water for 3 months. I'm like, oh my God, you're kidding me. She's like, no. She's like, my parents couldn't pay the bill. I'm like, all right. Like, don't tell anybody else, we're gonna handle this. And we did a fundraiser at, I don't know if you guys are familiar with JT's Bar and Grill over in Inwood, West Virginia. You know, John Tobin, a good friend of mine, who closed down recently, but he gave us his place. Put this incredible fundraiser on. Our kids played for 4 hours and raised $2,700. We paid their electric, we paid their water, and we were able to give their parents a little bit of cash, you know, grocery shopping, to buy clothes, to do little different things. Our kids notice that more than anything. Than anything else that we do. The difference between what I do and what a lot of different programs our community do, the kids that come to my school, they don't know they're there for help. They're there to have fun. That's all they know. We're teaching them. We're teaching them all the skills they need for life. We're teaching them how to problem solve and how to multitask and how to be a leader and how to, work with others without them coming with a stigmatism as I'm in trouble, I have to go here. And I think that's a huge difference from what we do and what a lot of the different communities do. Our kids are there because they want to be there.
Somebody that runs prevention programs through the schools and the clubs, they're tired of the traditional evidence-based programs. And one of the things that I advocate more than anything right now is to find the high yield activities, right? The things that they're coming to and they're passionate about anything. And then through that program, to do the evidence-based strategies of goal setting, coping strategies. Who do you identify as your adult in times of, hard times outside your family, all those different things. And what's really cool is there's a lot of us doing it on a high level as far as the theory part of it, right? There's not enough of us doing it in the practice field of it. And that's why I like his program, and I have a few other programs eventually I'll talk to you all about, are necessary to change the climate of what we're dealing with. Because what we're doing is trying to change the social determinants of health that we have in this community. And there's so many underlying things of those that just having people that listen to you. You know what I mean? Like somebody that genuinely wants to listen to you.
My teachers tell me all day long, they've come to me in concern before saying, we have a half hour with these kids every week and I'm spending 20 minutes talking to them. I'm like, okay, I got to teach them to play guitar. I get it. That's not why we're here. We're here for them. I don't care if they want to play guitar. I don't care what they want to do.
There's some power, like so emotional check-ins is a big thing that we do, right? We want to see where they're at before they come. And you have a kid that comes in and the rock school's a perfect place for this. Man, how you doing today? Tell me a song that describes what you're feeling today. Oh man, I think I'm feeling a little Jimi Hendrix today. Let's go play a couple chords of that. And then you're building that relationship because you're connecting with that kid's passion more than anything. You know what I mean? And like I said, I did with basketball and talking the same thing. I've had kids come tell me that they contemplated suicide and stuff. You know what I mean? And it gives us an opportunity to create these hubs that if we're well connected, part of being trauma informed is having the information and the resources that are in your community. You know what I mean? So like we have a family comes in the Boys and Girls Club, they have something comes up. We already have these experts in the community to say, hey, and make that warm handoff of, we've been working forever. So the Martinsburg Initiative, part of why that's important is when I have a kid in my club that's going through chaos, they can't go to Eastridge out in the community to get mental health services until 6 months later. I'm able to contact the Martinsburg Initiative if that kid's within Berkeley County schools and get them help a lot sooner. You know what I mean? And that's something with the intentionality of what Don's doing, you put that extra level of support to what he's already doing, starting to hit home runs, man.
What Corey's doing is making the connections between all the good organizations we have in this community. Because we have a lot of good organizations.
I've been here all my life, man.
He's making these connections. When I have kids that I can't help, or that I think maybe need a little bit more help that I can provide, I have people I can contact. 5 years ago, I didn't have that. I didn't know. I just winged it. I was there for them when I could be. I talked to their parents. I do what I can for them. But building the infrastructure is huge. And I think that's the biggest thing because nobody can do everything. You can't do everything all the time. But if I have a kid that I know is going to be served well by introducing him to Corey or, talking to Berkeley Jefferson Alliance I have those connections now. And it's these are, some of these people I'm talking about are bigger organizations, but I work with a lot of smaller organizations, Stars That Shine, things like that. We're there, they support our school. Stars That Shine comes in and they stock our school with the things that it's taken for granted by a lot of our society, that you have feminine products at your house for your kids, or you have toilet paper, or you have deodorant. A lot of the kids in our community don't have that. We keep an abundance of that at the school, working with Stars That Shine. So they can come in, there's a room, they can go in the bathroom, and there's a stockpile of stuff. They can just take whatever they want. Nobody knows they're taking it. It's always supplied, it's always there. They can go in, load up, take it. We keep snacks on hand, multiple snacks on hand. Anything they want. They come in, they take it. We don't ask questions, it's there. I don't care if you're eating it there, you're taking it home with you. We try to keep stuff provided for the community. So I hope this gives you guys a better idea of what I do and what we do as a group This is Mary Ann. I wanted to introduce you. She was pivotal in getting us to this point. When I started the 501c3, I panhandled the streets of Martinsburg to fund what we were doing. I knocked on every single business, every single door. I talked to Lowe's and Home Depot, and I talked to all the little restaurants, and I would get $5, $10 donations or $25 gift cards, and I would take all that and I would do raffles and we'd do concerts. So I might get, go through the streets and get $50 and maybe $100 in gift cards. I would take that, I'd put it into a basket, and I would have a concert, and then we'd do raffles for it, and we'd take that $200 we raised and turn it into $400, and we put that back in our coffers. And we did a after-school program for Eagle View, and that is how Mary Ann and I got started. That's how we met initially, somewhere along that lines. And her organization was pivotal in getting us to this level that we're at now. They had made some alterations. Like I said, they do matching funds now, which is, I think, even better than.
So you're saying like whatever, if we're able to give you something, you get that much more on top of it?
We'll double what you give us to, it starts with a minimum. So you give me $500, they're not gonna match it, but they have a minimum and a maximum that they do. And I think I requested the minimum that they match funds on. But yeah, if you give us that, they will match that, and the funds you give us are all going to the community. So we're gonna double the amount of money. The 50,000 I requested, if we get that, there's 100,000 going back into our community. So you're gonna take your budget for that, and you're gonna times it by 2, and you're gonna put it back into the community.
For long-term plans, part of the community organizing that we're doing is around the best grant writers in the community. I know Mary Ann's really good at what she does, and hopefully we won't be able to connect her with some other people that we have to help facilitate a lot of this. Like I was in talks today with Kristen from the Morgan County Partnership, and she essentially is, I said, Kristen, if you write 100 grants, how many of them do you get? She said about 78 of them. And then she's not lying. So there's a lot of people out there that that really want to support this to the next level. And it really came, we take a lot of things for granted. You know what I mean? And over the years, and especially through, all the stuff that we've been dealing with, we take granted that programs like this are always going to be healthy and running because it's such a good idea and it's so integral. Sometimes we forget that the people are people. You know what I mean? And things don't always work out the way that we plan them to work out. And sometimes when you do see somebody that needs a little bit of support, especially when they're doing such good things and they put so much of themselves into what they're doing, it's time for us to come around. You know what I mean? And a lot of the things that I'm doing to help Don, I'm not charging back to the club to do this thing. You know what I mean? I'm going to come in after hours of what I'm doing, put extra time and effort in to make sure that they have what they need to be successful and they're being intentional. On top of that, I'm also talking to like WVU Research and a couple more of these places so we can actually start quantifying what we're doing, right? Because I know a lot of the times it's a lot easier to say, hey, we had this many students, we saw this many effectual changes over this period of time, because that helps with funding, and that'll definitely help them once they start getting a little bit deeper into the grants that they're looking for. So that stopgap in time just to kind of keep things alive for a little bit, I think is kind of what's the emergent need. And then past that, there's a lot more organizing. You know what I mean? And when I talked to Don 3 months ago, he told me things were getting a little tough. He didn't tell me how dire they were. And of course, working through the holidays, that's kind of why it's taken a little bit to get everybody motivated to get action. There's a lot of people that want to make sure that this succeeds because we need more of these things. As soon as we can figure out the next one, like HD, I know you like clubs and stuff like that. How about some type of youth club that is a sobriety type thing, that we can get the kids out there having fun doing all these things, that we don't have to inundate with a ton of like these programs. We can do more of like, hey, let's have fun, let's do positive music, let's write positive music, let's have them play,
And there's partnerships and all.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There's things over there.
Well, we open a little later at Tilties, not to get off subject, but
Right.
we could do some probably do some programs there if you're interested.
Yeah, man.
We actually bring daily companions there now. So we do every quarter. I take my adult mentally disabled group, one of them, with me. We go to Tilties and they open up their doors, they open up their machines, and it's about 14 or 15 adult. I always call them kids. I feel horrible. They're adults, and they come in and they just have a blast. One thing I didn't tell you guys is so currently we have 55 students. We range anywhere from 78 to 48. It fluctuates throughout the year depending on sports, different things going on, people coming in and out. Currently we're at 55 students. Actually, we're at 57. I just brought 2 new students on the other day. So that gives you an idea of the amount of students we have currently. Now we also do camps. So we do summer camps, 3 every year. And then we are currently working with Martinsburg Initiative to start doing after-school programs again. We've done them in the past, and we want to be able to do before-school programs and after-school programs as well. So that's something that they are hoping to fund.
I'm going to jump in quick.
Please.
I promise it'll be quick. I just wanted to elaborate a little bit. I'm from the Roy and Winston Foundation.
It's not us.
It's the million people out there watching on
Say it's
camera.
more professional when you do it.
3,000 people in the lobby out there.
Excellent, excellent. Mary Ann Ron with Roy and Gwen Steely Foundation. I'm their program director, and I'm charged with giving away our funds. We're a private family foundation, and we give away about $2.5 million a year in the Eastern Panhandle. We do that through scholarships and then through education grants, mentoring, and foster care grants. Don was correct in how we met. We were interested. We were pretty new as a foundation as well. It was only like our 2nd or 3rd year operational, and I was still learning. I met Don, went over to the school to learn about a potential grant for mentoring, and I always tell everybody the story that I was so blown away. And I walked in, and there were some really like punk rock looking dudes in there, some kids that, you know, chains and hair crazy. And I thought, ooh, and I walked in and they looked me in the eye, shook my hand, were very, very polite, very cordial, well-spoken. I thought that was my first impression of, not what I was expecting. Our foundation really gained a lot of understanding and respect for the mentoring game. Our board members were very hesitant at first, not really understanding the measurable impact mentoring has, and numbers of people want to see return on investment. Don't always get that with the mentoring campaigns like that. But we've given the Rock School a significant amount of money because our board believes in them, I believe in them. I've seen what they do, and unfortunately, as Don said, we have shifted to matching, which I say unfortunately, it means we're not going to be giving him straight up grants. Our board has shifted the thought that we would be much more impactful by leveraging what we have, and by doing that, again, 50,000 grant will turn to 100,000. So guarantee I will match whatever you put in dollar for dollar.
And if you want to put 500,000 to match that too.
Maybe 100.
It was worth a shot.
No, I can match more than 50 if you want to go higher. But I just wanted to give you a little better background on who I am and why I'm here and how much I believe in Don, and I would encourage you to consider a good grant for him. Thank you.
Okay.
And you can ask me any questions if you have any.
HD, Jim?
I asked some. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Do you work with Region 9?
Well, not directly. We have we hired a grant writer through us. We're funding their grant writer.
Yeah. I thought you
Yeah,
said the
we do.
Sealy
Yeah.
company. I thought, man, they work with Region 9.
Yeah, well, we don't really work with Region 9 other than we are hosting a grant writer through
Yeah.
them to help, again, leverage funds. So, but very familiar with
I'm
them.
chairman of Region 9. That's
Oh, okay, okay. Yes, we,
You said that name, you woke him up.
yeah.
So there's matching grants out there, now you know.
Yes, we know.
Very good. It's a very good program. I can tell you're very passionate about it. That's for sure. I know that we we always look closely at our budget, and you know, if there is something we can do, we most certainly try to do it. And
I just appreciate the consideration, the opportunity to speak in front of you
well,
guys.
appreciate the education that you gave me about what you're trying to do for the community. It's very, very admirable of what y'all are trying to do. So.
If there's ever any time that you all want to learn more about what we're actually doing with prevention, how we're trying to address social determinants of health, I'd be more than happy to talk to you all.
And you work for Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, so I work for the Boys and Girls Club as the OG program manager. I'm also the co-chair of the Berkeley County University Council and a board member of the Inspiring Dreams Network. So there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of different trainings that can come out. I'm a master trainer in like 6 different things. I'm about to work on becoming a trauma-informed specialist with Boys and Girls Club. So there's a lot of us out there, man, and we're really connected. We have probably some of the best coalitions in the state around what you all know. You know, it's not like this everywhere else where we have the connectivity and just ability to be actionable on good ideas. You know, it's not like that everywhere else.
Right.
But yeah, I'd be more than happy to talk to you, anybody and everybody about this stuff. You got the time.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. A friend of mine used to fly for Mr. Steele.
Oh, really?
Bart. You know Bart?
Oh, Bart.
Mhm.
Yes, we have a regular out at the airport. That's where our offices used to be. We just in January moved.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the airport, basically our whole existing foundation. He
That's
used to fly with my boss, Adam.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
Adam's pilot in charge. Now Adam is flying.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's how Adam got involved with the Steelies. He was pilot at the airport.
Yeah. Yeah. Bart actually took me up in Mr. Steele's plane. We had to fly up to Cumberland to get to the other one that I guess it was a PC
PC-12?
PC-12.
Yeah.
And I got to fly up into Malibu with Bart, and Bart had to get some information out of it.
I've been in the Malibu. I haven't been in PC-12.
Yeah.
Although I could,
Yeah.
I just declined.
Yeah.
Because Adam still flies it occasionally, and he's always like, "Do you want to go?"
Is that why you declined?
Tell Adam if he wants somebody to go, I'll go.
Any day. I think he's flying on Thursday.
Well, I'm here on Thursday, so doggone it. I'm not here Thursday. Penny, I'm not here. I got to get permission from Penny before I can go anywhere.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you
It's
very much
nice
for
to
your
meet you.
Very
time.
small world. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just, you're right. It is a small world and it gets smaller every
It
day.
does. I know.
Community.
It's crazy.
If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to call me, email me. HC has my phone
Or
number.
me, because you don't know.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. All righty. We are at 4:01. Mr. Barnhart.
Well, it
It's
looks
your
like
duty.
there's nobody here, nobody asking us for any more money, so I move to recess.
We are in recess. Thank you.